Bobby.
Coach, we got you. Ready to
Bobby,
go.
yes.
Gotcha, Coach. Yep.
Okay. Yes. Health-wise, I think the only one, Solo's been added with a wrist, but he should be fine. He's been limited with a wrist, and Hassan just will be game time. He's been, let's just say, limited, and will be for the remainder of the way here with him. Everyone else, Liam came out of the game, obviously sore, playing that many minutes in his first game back, and then Ahmad, Ahmad should be available. He's been able to practice back-to-back days and do things, so he's moving around better. That's it.
Looks like Roger's first. I know a couple guys are traveling, so Roger, you want to lead us off?
Sure. Dan, you mentioned the other night that it was possible that you would shut down Haas just to get him better or stronger. Is that still a thought in your mind, or do you want to see if he can play through it first? What's the thought with him right now?
Well, I mean, the thought was to give him rest, and it's just to rest him in between games. The problem, with doing that with players is they might not play well, or as hard as he fought to battle through injury in that game, if you don't practice with the team, then it affects your sharpness. It also affects the team's ability to function. But then if you do practice, then your health is worse.
So do you consider shutting him down for a couple games, or is it better to move forward with him right now?
Yeah, I think it's I guess we're just at the. I just say as coaches, it's up to the player and the medical people, for what he does from here. So I'm not a doctor. I don't think. I think to cure what he's got going, he would probably need, an extended period of time, a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Obviously, by that point, the season's over.
Thank you.
So, Wayne, then Mark.
Dan, what have you done? What can you do to address the recent turnover numbers?
Well, Wayne, it's I guess maybe bring it to everyone's attention. Although I don't know how they could not be aware of it, but it just that's been one of the things that has kind of kept us alive this year prior to the last couple of games when the guard health went sideways, and we played a couple of teams that apply pressure. But a lot of the turnovers, we had 10 turnovers in the first half on Friday and 12 in the second half. So they weren't necessarily turnovers, that were, they were evenly distributed throughout the game. They weren't, they were, and some of them, or a majority of them, weren't necessarily caused by pressure in the last two games. We've been giving, the fact that we won a game and with 27 turnovers, and is obviously stunning. And then the fact that we had multiple chances and a 5-point lead fairly late in the second half with 22 turnovers. And you're minus 15 turnover-wise is just an incredible stat. You should be down 18 or 20 at that point of the game if you're at a minus 15 turnover differential. So it's been a strength of our team up until the last 2 games. We've been one of the best teams at not turning the ball over, and we got to get back to doing that.
Thank you.
But
Coach,
it's only becoming an issue recently, and that's, I think, obviously the defense has improved some, the rebounding improved some, but now something that we were really, really good with has gotten away from us.
Coach, you said in the press conference you need more guys to win one-on-ones and do some things off script on Friday. Who are the guys you're looking for outside of Liam? Because I thought he took the initiative in the second half.
Yeah, I think there's opportunities when you're running, even some of the actions that you run in the half court, Mark. It's like it's not always to generate, just a 3-point shot. I think that's where we've had, players like Cam or Tristan that would use some of this off-ball action into a DHO or a ball screen or a zoom or whatever it is, and they'd use that movement to create an advantage for them to then, attack a gap or a seam. Then get in the paint and finish or put something good on the rim, or hit the roller or throw it out to the line for a chance to shoot a 3 or drive a closeout. So, obviously, guys like Alex and Solo Ball and Jalen Stewart, staying more aggressive. Jalen's start to the game the other day was awesome. We need that from him. But then he's got to keep sustaining it. He's followed that incredible startup with a couple of turnovers, a couple bad defense possessions. We need guys to be able to sustain higher levels of play. And then, some of these teams that you play, they maybe the way that they guard sometimes are challenging for your scheme. There are just some matchups, I think, that are worse for how you play offense. We've got to figure those kinds of things out as a staff.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
We'll go to, looks like Joe was able to get on. Joe, then Adam, then Michael.
Hey, Dan. I'm just wondering, last time when you played him, obviously you didn't have Liam. I just wonder how much he changes your game plan now that he's in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's another guy that from a scouting standpoint, that I think is scares the other team, relative to to having Solo, to having Alex, now having 3 guys on the court that are all basically 14 points a game type of guys. I think it's always unnerving for the other for the other opponent when they're preparing from a scouting standpoint. You can see, I would say, with Liam, you saw the impact on the backboard. in that game, and obviously his ability to get to the free throw line, and obviously versus the very deep drop that Creighton is able to play because of having such a rare defensive center who's played 5 years there and really understands how to play that deep drop. He's a 6'7" guy that has got to be living at the logo in the paint, throwing late lobs, shooting deep floaters, picking his spots when he attacks Kalkbrenner, and at times maybe spraying into the line when people are moving. So, it just we you need people that could attack Kalkbrenner in that drop, and the fact that he's 6'7" it obviously helps.
Thank you.
Got it.
Michael, Adam, you guys. Go ahead, Zags.
Hey, Dan, it's Adam. How are you?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, bud. So you guys fell out of the poll this week. Does that matter? Do you care? And you said the other day you were optimistic about the future. Can you kind of expand on that and why you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. Well, I'm just finding out now, so appreciate the good news on that.
Yeah, sorry, just telling you how it is, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? No one gets crowned in February. There's no crowns, handed out for a while here. There's going to be, obviously, in today's world, there's going to be very quick reactions and all types of hot takes. You win a game at Marquette, you're back, and you're the team. You're the team that now, once they're healthy, everyone's better be afraid of, and then you lose a close game at home to a really good team, and you stink again. So we very easily could be because of health and because of just not being as good as we need to be. We've lost a ton of close games, and we very easily, if we were healthier and played a little bit better and coached better, we could very easily be a 2 or 3 loss team at this point of the year and have a completely different, take on things. So, right now, we're focused on that, getting a couple possessions better. We've made some strides defensively. We've made some strides by out-rebounding St. John's in the game, which not many people have been able to do. But now we've got to deal with the turnover issue. And now we just got to get a team that could kind of stay healthy and just be able to play out the rest of its season and try to get to its ceiling. But yeah, there's no crowns that get handed out on February 10th. I know we didn't get any crowns the last 2 years in the beginning of February. So I think everyone's got to keep playing, and things obviously get decided. All the big things get decided in March.
Good stuff, brother. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Oh my God. Later.
Hey Dan, Michael Cohen here. I was just curious, as you guys search for some answers and some different things you can do at the point guard spot with Hassan's health, is Aiden still someone you can factor in there, or based on what you've learned about his strengths and weaknesses, is that not really a great option for him based on just where he fits within the team?
Well, I think he's got the qualities to do it. You know, he really does. It's you know it's been a tough transition. Obviously, the plan, with bringing Aiden in, was to put him on the ball and keep Hassan in the position where he's, if not the best in the country at, but one of the best in the country at, being that sixth starter, that first guard off the bench, where he thrived with us last year. And with Aiden, we've had that transition to being more of a primary and being out there with Solo, with Liam, with Alex, and one of our centers. Kind of the vision of this thing was, there'd be a serious dynamic offensive group with what Aiden's accomplished in his career. Aiden, what he did at St. Mary's, just, it hasn't translated to us. As a coach, it's frustrating that I haven't been able to get that out of him. It's there. Maybe we see it the last 8 games of the Big East regular season, and he goes on a run and a roll, and so yeah. I mean, we're going to keep obviously keep trying to put him in positions to really help this team. He's done it. He saved us in the Baylor game, the most important game of the year that we had to win. Without his performance in that game, our season's toast. So it's in there. He's had those moments. Obviously, Ahmad is another consideration as well, now that he's healthy enough to at least practice.
And just as a quick follow-up, Suns need
and the other option is moving McNeely over and kind of going a little bit more positionless and just playing a bigger lineup. And I guess if you're going to turn the ball over anyway, maybe it's better to be taller.
Fair enough. Just as a quick follow-up, does Hassan's knee tend to bother him more on one end of the court or the other? Is it more problematic offensively or defensively?
I just think it's I just think just overall, when you go, and now I'm watching the first Creighton game, you can see, even prior to the Butler game, when it became much worse, you could start seeing a hitch in his giddy up in the Creighton game at times there, where he was starting. You could actually look back to the Creighton game and begin to see a player in a little bit of distress in terms of the movement. And then I think the next game was Butler, and then it got, the deterioration got worse. Just overall movement, though, I think.
Thank you.
Got it.
Again, so we can go one more quick one if you got it, Jaden. So you had your hand there.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
What's up, Jaden? How we doing, brother?
Good. Just a question here after Sampson and Taras got into foul trouble a little bit the last 2 games. A 2-part question. Number one, after what Taras has given you off the bench, how much more are you looking for from him moving forward? And also, have you maybe given a little thought to stealing some minutes in the first half or early in the second with Youssef just to kind of mitigate the foul trouble?
Yeah, just with Taras, I think I guess I'll go there first. He's a talented guy. I think we've been able to unlock certainly an improvement for him in terms of his production and his efficiency. But there's even more that he's capable of. There's there's rebounds, I think, that he leaves on the table at both ends of the backboard. I think there's 3-point plays. There's deep post position. There's, ball screen defensive breakdowns. I mean, there's so many, and he's such a, he's a talented player, and he's, he's a wonderful kid. Obviously, you'd love to see, ferocity out of him and maybe some better decision making, trying to eliminate plays like when Solo saves the ball to him, in the second half versus St. John's, and, and he runs over Ejiofor, like plays like that where, he's not, not making as good of decisions as he should. I just, that's a lot of it. I think it's just, it's urgency. It's intensity. It's being a ferocious competitor, a nastiness, violence to how he plays. I think he's like, sometimes I think he thinks he might hurt somebody. He's that athletic and powerful. So that's the next step for him it's an approach and an identity. And then, I wasn't really, there's moments and matchups, I think, for Youssef, where he can help us. I didn't, I would say even St. John's probably in that game, tightened up their rotation a little bit more in a game like that. Prey and the other backup center probably played less against us than they did in other games, just because it was such a battle, every possession mattered so much. I don't think either one of us were going to go deeper into our bench,
Thanks, Coach. Stay on the plane.
Thanks, Dan.
Good luck, Dan.
All right, Jaden. See you, brother.
All right.
All right, everybody. Later.